evening and welcome to this edition of Newsleader on 6. I'm Jim Fuller.
And I'm Amelia Marquez. In tonight's news, the Shelbyville-Bedford County Chamber of Commerce has come up with a new and entertaining way to encourage students to improve the ACT test scores. Gubernatorial candidate Bill Lee was in town last week, and we'll hear from State Representative Judd Matheny on state's opioid crisis, and the Tullahoma Post Office will be collecting canned goods for the needy this Saturday. We'll have these stories and more on tonight's Newsleader on 6.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Kia in Tullahoma. I have a few 2017s left that have to go right now. Kia Forte, $14,994. Kia Optima, $19,971. And my question is, why buy your next Kia anywhere else?
Cool off at Southern Middle Tennessee's newest water park, Tullahoma's Splash Island. Fun for all ages. 3 25-foot water slides, lazy river, fun water features for toddlers, tasty food items available. All this and more, only $5 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 4 to 9 p.m. Sundays 1 to 6. Join the fun at Tullahoma's Splash Island.
Welcome back. The Shelbyville-Bedford County Chamber of Commerce is hosting a benefit concert next week featuring Big and Rich and Big Smo. Kelly North, Workforce Development Coordinator for the Chamber, stopped by earlier this week to tell us more.
We're very excited. We have been working together as a collective community, our great teachers in Bedford County and our business leaders and the community as a whole to try to give our students some incentive to make improvements on their ACT scores. And next week, country music stars Big and Rich will be performing a concert at the Calsonic Arena.
That in itself is exciting.
It's so exciting.
But the fact that it's for education is awesome.
Yes. So back in November, this concert was the brainchild of our Career and Technical Education Director, Miss Joy Rich, who happens to be the sister of John Rich from Big and Rich. It does not. She's brilliant. She's done a fantastic job building up our career and technical education programs this year, as well as getting our students engaged and our educators engaged in helping these kids to boost those ACT scores. For people out there that might not know what technical career is, give them an idea of some of the things that happen. So some examples of career and technical education would be our welders,
electricians, maybe?
Electricians, plumbers.
And the world is void of a lot of those wonderful people.
Yes, they are. And I don't think that our students always realize that there's opportunities.
Exactly.
So many great opportunities at our technical schools. Tennessee College of Applied Technology, fantastic school. The programs that they have there
and how
are
long
amazing.
Does it take for a person to get a technical degree, approximately?
I think maybe around a year.
And by then you can get a job.
By then you can get a job.
You can work for a company, or you can own your own business.
Absolutely.
Actually.
There's so many things that you can do.
They get certified, so
yes, there's so many things that you can do with the technical education.
Well, let's talk about the concert a little bit.
Yes,
the Calsonic Arena. And it's what night?
May 15th, Tuesday, 1 week from tonight.
It's Tuesday night,
yes,
right.
Tuesday, May 15th. I was
trying to remember. Tuesday night. And tickets are? Tickets
are on sale now at the Chamber of Commerce in Shelbyville and on ShelbyvilleTN.com. Ticket prices start at $35.
Okay.
So, and we have some different options for ticket pricing. If someone maybe wanted a VIP experience, there's an option available there. Big and Rich will be doing a Q&A session with all of our students.
Oh, that's great.
And
VIP
you said
ticket holders.
Did
you just tell me that 600 students?
We have had over 600 students earn a ticket to the concert. So in order to earn a ticket to the concert,
that's phenomenal.
Yes, they had to score either a 21 or better on their ACT or make a 2-point gain. So we've had over 600 students that have either scored a 21 or better or make a 2-point gain. It's fantastic. What it does for these students is it expands their college going opportunities, opens the door to scholarship potential, and really helps to unlock the doors to their future potential.
And Big and Rich are doing this concert, if I'm not mistaken, for free.
Yes,
all the money goes to this.
Yes.
This work.
All of the net proceeds will go back to Bedford County Schools and the Shelbyville-Bedford County Chamber of Commerce Partners in Education Program.
And now
so doors open to the general public at 6. The show starts at 7. Big Smo, who is a Bedford County native, will be opening.
We all know about Big Smo.
Yes, yes. We're very excited.
Is he like playing before
he is.
Big and Rich come on?
Yes, he'll play before Big and Rich.
It'll be a great concert.
It really will.
Do you have any idea how long they'll play?
So the show will probably end around 9:30.
At $2.81, the national gas price average is 45 cents more expensive than a year ago. With the unofficial kickoff to summer just weeks away, prices are expected to increase, but a tapering trend may be emerging. AAA spokesperson Jeanette Castellanos said, quote, "If this past week's moderate increases are any indicator of what's to come, the fast rate at which gas prices were increasing may be slowing down." On the week, the national average held steady and 19 state averages remained flat or saw decreases in gas prices. Despite this stability, drivers on the West Coast and in Idaho, Utah, and Pennsylvania are paying $3 per gallon, end quote. Tennessee's average price today was $2.59 per gallon, up 48 cents from this day last year. Stay with us. More Newsleader is coming up after these messages.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Ford at Tullahoma and Winchester. Check out the Ford Fusion, 0% financing up to 72 months and $1,500 cash back, or the Ford Fiesta for $13,995. And my question is, why buy your next Ford anywhere else?
The day the Lord created hope could be the same day He created spring.
Springtime's here. It's a good time to get our air conditioners checked out before those hot summer days get here. We've been here for a little over 35 years. It's been our pleasure to serve our community. We'd like to thank you for Tullahoma's finest, and from all of us to all of you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Tonight we bring you part 2 of Tom Corrington's interview with State Representative Judd Matheny. In this segment, Representative Matheny talks about opioids and school safety.
A lot of movement on the opioid front this year, which the legislature identified it years ago as a problem. I passed the Prescription Drug Control Act in 2013 that made it mandatory for physicians and pharmacists to check databases before opioids were prescribed or dispensed. Because of that, even though we still have an extraordinary problem, opioid prescriptions are down 21% now over the last 4 years in Tennessee due to that law. But that 79% that remains, about 50% we think that could still be dangerously overprescribed. So we're reaching much deeper in trying to discipline doctors that are prescribing too freely and also those that are selling.
Yeah. Prescriptions was your major focus.
Yeah, absolutely. Prescriptions are our major focus, and we have made it more rigorous now for a patient to obtain these drugs. Not that they can't and not that they won't be able to, but a little bit more rigorous, a little bit more education from the medical community before they get on these drugs, and also slower refills and perhaps less quantities, especially when it comes to pregnant women and those that already have a propensity for abuse. The quantities may be 10 at a time instead of 30. And so we'll change it around. And then drug abuse, education, rehabilitation, all the things that are very key to getting somebody off of these problems. We put a lot of money into home health programs and community-based anti-drug programs, helping our drug courts, our veterans courts, helping law enforcement with education and intervention training. So it's we finally took a big swing at it this year, and actually the whole nation's taken a big swing at it, not just Tennessee, which is great because we have 8 border states. But we are making headway on the opioid issue. It's probably something we're never going to fully be able to get our hands around, but I think we can much tighter, and I think we can cut the overdose deaths that we have now. They're approaching 1,800 a year. I think we can fully cut those in half in the years to come with these new things.
School safety.
School safety. Well, of course.
No arming teachers.
Well, no. We're trying to allow education agencies to be able to have their own programs. If they have individuals that are prior military or prior law enforcement, or that choose to go through certain classes on high-risk shooting situations, that those individuals could be armed. And the main reason we're doing that, Tom, number one, I think those are the most responsible people in our society, so I have no problem with them carrying weapons around children, especially if they're permit holders. Facts prove that that's the safest segment of our population. But we only have about half the schools in the state have school resource officers. So there's no money available, and the General Assembly's not made money available, and the counties don't have money available for school resource officers in about half the schools in the state. So the schools need to have an option. And if the schools choose to have the option to arm qualified trained individuals to be basically school marshals. You remember we had the phenomenon of air marshals a decade ago, and they still are. You could ride on any international flight and some domestic flights, and you may have an air marshal in there. You don't know who it is. Well, the same thing with the teacher. Nobody really knows who it is. The teachers keeping concealed. We're not able to get that done in a widespread effort, but I think it's coming. This General Assembly we have realizes that force has to be met with force. At the same time, we don't want to introduce guns to the classroom. We don't want to be that way.
Yeah.
So we're trying to thread that needle and do it in a way that everybody or most people buy into, and we just haven't come to that point.
Okay. You put a little emphasis on hiring off-duty law enforcement officers
would be great.
Who are already completely trained and would. We have more money than ever now, but less to use. It's really acute, and it costs $70,000-$80,000 to put a resource officer in a school at a minimum once you pay their salary and their benefits and their vehicle and their equipment, and it's just an extraordinary amount of money, especially if you have 8 schools and in a district the sheriff has to deal with, and that these rural counties, that sheriff doesn't even have 8 men on the road during the day. You know, they're all tied up. It's a real issue.
More news is coming up in a moment.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
Welcome back. Tonight we continue our coverage of gubernatorial candidate Bill Lee's visit to Tullahoma.
I'm an unlikely person to be running for governor. I mean, I've never run for anything, and I've never worked in government, but I am today, and this is part of the reason. I had 2 experiences in particular I'll share with you, among others. I chaired the YMCA of Middle Tennessee, and it's one of the largest Ys in the country, one of the largest nonprofits in the state. And they have a program called YCAP, and it's for at-risk inner-city kids. And I was at a YCAP lunch, and I met a kid in the inner city. And my conversation with him was really meaningful, and I decided to spend time with him. So I started driving into his really troubled neighborhood once a week in downtown Nashville and picking him up and spending an evening a week with him. That was 5 years ago. We're still very close. Just texted him 10 minutes ago. I got involved in that young man's life whose mom was in prison, didn't know his dad, lived in a terrible situation. But he taught me a lot about life, but he also taught me a lot about education, because he was failing every class in his failing school. And I moved him to another public school, and he had a profoundly different outcome. And because of my experience with one kid, I suddenly became really interested in how powerful education is in the life of a child. My kids had all gone through school, but I saw a transformation in a kid and realized that we are not doing our children a service. We have thousands of children sitting in poor performing schools, and we owe it to them to break the status quo and to change as rapidly as we can change our public school system so that our kids will have opportunities. Not just public school, but all education systems. My kids were homeschooled and public schooled and private schooled, and this kid goes to a charter school, so mine's not about what kind of school so much as it is the education system in general. That led me to some public policy work in education, and I started thinking about public service. I also got involved in a prison ministry called Men of Valor, a large organization that is faith-based nonprofit that works with Department of Corrections. And I was on the board of that organization many years, and I decided to mentor a man coming out of prison. They try to connect mentors with each guy coming out. And so I mentored a guy who's now been out for about 7 years. And that relationship really opened up my eyes to recidivism, sentencing reform, judicial, all sorts of public safety issues. And that was very interesting to me. I got passionate about it, got involved in public policy around that, was appointed to a state task force. And I had done some work in business reform, tax reform, tort reform, and public policy around that. So really what happened was I was a guy who'd been in business, been in the ag business, been, dad, husband, not related to government politics, but I found myself realizing that public service might be just the way, because public policy impacts people's lives, thousands of people's lives. Y'all know that. And it can impact them positively or negatively. I mean, I'm a business guy. I know how government can actually have a negative impact on business, regulation, and an environment that's not conducive to creating jobs. But I also realize how powerfully positive it can be if it has the right leadership and the right vision and the right motive for impacting people's lives for good. So I told Maria, I said, you know what? I have spent most of my adult career trying to make life better for 1,200 plumbers and pipe fitters and welders and their families. What if it was my job to make life better for 6.5 million people? And I wonder if a guy like me, with no political experience and no governmental experience, could actually pursue this office with the desire to impact the people that live in the state of Tennessee. And we prayed about that for a year, and I not only decided I could do it, that it was appropriate for me to pursue it, but that in fact, when the founding fathers created and crafted and formed this government, it's really what they had in mind, I think, is that we would be a country that, they left a nation of a ruling class, and they established a nation based on the idea of self-governance, and that regular people like you and me would engage in the public square and make an impact and get back out. And so the other reason that I felt like, you know what, in fact I can do this, and I should do it, besides the fact that I felt called and compelled to do it, is this, we have a judicial branch and a legislative branch and an executive branch. And the governor is the head of the executive branch of our government. And my life has really been a life of executive leadership. That's what I've done. Lead a corporation, lead nonprofits, lead industry associations. And I've studied leadership and executive leadership my whole life. So we prayed about it, we heard, and we decided to do it.
We'll be right back in a moment.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Chevrolet GMC in Winchester. This month only, 2018 Chevrolet Silverados, employee pricing, and up to $6,000 off. And my question is, why buy your next Chevrolet Silverado anywhere else?
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Attention, attention. Tullahoma and surrounding areas, Spinelli's Pizzeria is now open at 121 Northwest Atlantic Street in downtown Tullahoma. They specialize in Philadelphia-style pizzas that you can order by the pie or by the gigantic slice. Spinelli's also has great sandwiches with breads imported from Philly, loaded stromboli, salads, and desserts. They are open from 11 a.m. until 3 a.m. with delivery every day. So stop by Spinelli's and get a slice.
Welcome back. The Tullahoma Post Office will be collecting food for the needy this Saturday. John Gray brings us the story.
Cindy Kenny here with Good Samaritan. And
Missy McCann with Tullahoma Post Office.
And so they're here to talk about that, how to get the food out there, what to do, and why are you involved with this?
I am involved because I'm one of the 4 agencies that receives the food. Good Samaritan of Tullahoma, the Attic Outlet, Wesley Heights Methodist Church, and First Christian Church. We all have food pantries, and so we, this tremendous food drive that they do in the spring, we are the recipients, so we divvy up the food and each of us takes a share of it. And
we just want all you folks out there to realize, look in your cupboard. I guarantee you, you've got something in there that you bought that you go, well, why in the world did I buy that? What'd you say, Julia? Capers. Julia said she looked in her cupboard and had a jar of capers, and she went, what in the world did I? That's going on the post box. But you never know what somebody who's hungry needs and how they can transform what you really don't think you need into a good meal for them and their family at their home. How many carriers are there, Missy?
Well, our rural, I'm really not sure of our rural count. There's
in town. Well, you're in town like you work town.
A little over 20, and that counts all of Tullahoma, because there's really more rural carriers than there are city carriers.
So the rural carriers that come out of Tullahoma, are there real carriers at the Manchester?
Yes.
So you're not doing all of Coffee County. You're just doing
We're just doing who we deliver mail to, and Manchester will do it. Right. Manchester will take care of their customers, and we'll take care of our normal customers that we deliver.
County customers who get Tullahoma delivery.
Right.
Remember, folks, to put something in a bag. All you got's real simple, and put some good stuff in there too. You've got plenty of that. Don't just put capers in there. And not perishable.
The one thing that I would like to add is that probably homemade is probably better than bought, but they can't distribute homemade.
Correct.
Right.
They just cannot. So if you put that in there, that's really going to end up being wasted. And we prefer no glass, not because we don't want what's in there, but if we're not careful, if we don't know it, we're going to throw it and it's going to break. So if you really need to put glass, I'm going to say put it up front if you can't avoid donating something in glass. Other than that, really anything. It amazes me how little we can do in the one day's time, how little I can do personally and help so many. When I get done with my route that day and see all the food I've collected, I'm always surprised and thankful that I've been put in a position, like I said, where I can do so little and help so many.
Yeah, that's
I feel
really
real
great.
lucky.
That's really great. Girls, thanks so much, and thank you again for the service both of you give our community, and keep it going.
We will.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thanks to everyone who's going to donate. Thank you.
Pet of the Week this week at the Tullahoma Animal Shelter is a playful and energetic lab mix named Kiki. She's approximately 4 years old, up to date on her vaccinations, heartworm negative, and has been spayed. Kiki is great with other dogs and children. Be sure to check out the shelter on Facebook for information about upcoming events and fundraisers. Remember, you can help support your local shelter by adopting, donating, or volunteering. For more details, contact Teresa at 454-9580 The Tullahoma Animal Shelter is located at 942 Maplewood Avenue.
The Coffee County Humane Society featured pets this week is Rocky. He is a mixed breed dog looking for a forever home. The shelter also has many other dogs available for adoption at 1210 Oakdale Street in Manchester. Hours of operation at the shelter are 7:30 a.m. until 2:30 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. on Saturday. The shelter's phone number is 723-2730. Donations for animal care can be made to the Coffee County Humane Society at P.O. Box 252 in Manchester. Their website is www.coffeehumane.org.
Stay with us. Your weather forecast is coming up next.
Russell's got your truck, man. Russell's got your truck.
Big, bigger, and even bigger. Russell Barnett has any size truck for any size need. Chevrolet, Ford, GMC, Ram. Check us out on the web at russellbarnett.com. Our selection is so huge, we may need our own zip code. So my question is, why buy your next truck anywhere else?
With the best selection anywhere, Russell's got your truck, man.
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do, you know.
Everyday miracles at Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Can you imagine a world without beauty, without color, without creativity, without art? Neither can we. Keep arts alive and experience all kinds of arts and crafts at the first annual Arts Alive Tullahoma on the lawn of the newly renovated grounds of the South Jackson Civic Center, May 26th and 27th. For details, visit TullahomaArtsCouncil.com and come spend the day at our fun, family-oriented art festival.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record high was in 1928 at 90 degrees. The record low was in 1966 at 35 degrees. Average high on this day is 77 and the average low is 52. Partly cloudy weather expected tonight with a low of around 66. Partly cloudy weather remains in the forecast for the next couple of days with a high on Friday of 90 and a low of 67, and Saturday's high also around 90 with a low of 68. And that's our Newsleader report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for Newsleader on 6. You have a good evening.
And from all of us on Newsleader 6 wishes you and your families a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And for all you mothers out there, we hope you have a beautiful, beautiful Sunday. Thank you.